introduce him, say who he is.
All right, we got Aaron Landis, owner and coach at CrossFit Orlando, both locations, Charlestown and Woburn, and I'm interviewing him. So, First question for you. When first opening Woburn, our first location, what were some of the difficulties that you hadn't thought of besides money or equipment?
Well, I guess this seems kind of dumb, but things like delays in construction and then coordinating just all that kind of stuff. You know, one of the things we did is we bought all the equipment, because that's really easy to do, just ahead of time. But then all of a sudden, we were delayed by 6 weeks with construction. So then we just got this delivery of mats and equipment and all this stuff. And then things that, I guess the biggest thing, I guess I should say, the struggle was things out of my control, the construction timing. That was pretty much the biggest thing. And then just all the little odds and ends, filing a business certificate, doing all of the online things, Facebook page, a Google Places thing. All that stuff that you need verification for. I mean, I spent days putting all of that stuff together, and then and just the website, those little things that you need for running a business, and then marketing, things like signage, marketing throughout the town of Woburn, just all that kind of stuff that that's what being an owner what it means is you sit there and just I'm just gonna write programming and coach classes, but that's literally a quarter of what I have to do.
Yeah. All right. So, what was your thought process for hiring coaches we have now? What was the ultimate goal for the coaching staff?
Well, that's an interesting question, because at first I was planning on running everything myself. So when we first opened, I had my business partner, Darren, and literally I was planning on coaching every class and running the gym, and then he basically one day we were just at lunch. He was like, that you just can't do that. You need to get another coach. And so right away, that's what I thought of Stacy. At the time, I was coaching her, as a coach athlete thing. And I knew she was just a great coach. So I just told him, I was like, dude, we need to, no matter how much money it costs, we need to just get her as a coach.
Yeah.
And then it was just really, what we always say is that we always want to have the best coaches that we can have, and we'll never sacrifice that. When we opened a second location, obviously that makes it more difficult, but we always said is that even if just her and I had to coach all the classes, we'd rather do that than get coaches that aren't good.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to hiring coaches, it's always need-based, If we need coaches to fill in spots, we try to go out and search for them. But then at the same time, we always believe that you can never have too many good coaches, so it kind of falls in our lap that there's kind of like you did, and when Ben started with the intern process, and what now we have in Charlestown, if we have people that we think that we can develop, because that's what we have kind of a development program. That's the thing, is that very rarely is it going to be people like Stacey and I have each had in situations where you can kind of just jump in and just be there ready to coach how they want.
Mm-hmm.
We have a development program, and so we look for people that are coachable, intelligent in their own right, that will listen and then be able to develop their own sense of style and coaching, but still be willing to, report back and be taught by us.
Yeah. So if you could go back and change anything about starting this business, what would you change?
So that's probably the biggest question, or thing I like the most, probably do differently, is just all the business. It's sort of what I talked about in the first question, all the business stuff, things like having an accountant. Yeah. Having a business operations manager, a secretary, and there's so many things that I was just oh yeah, I can just do. And at the very beginning, was fine, because we didn't have a lot of stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
But now, as you're at the 3-year, 4-year point, and we've had it in another location, it's just been a shit show of things, because I don't know how to do taxes, I don't know how to do accounting, even things like inventory and stuff like that. That luckily we had we hired April and stuff to do, and Stacy did, but just that ability to know how to delegate. I didn't know how to delegate, but just doing that and assume, and also I guess using my business partner Darren and people like my dad even to show me what things an owner doesn't do in a business in general. Not, I just always thought oh well, no one knows CrossFit like me, so I know how to do everything. But like business is business when it comes down to it. Like
Yeah.
freaking finances and taxes and that type of shit is the same no matter what.
Yeah, just
You
like
know?
have it prepared.
Yeah.
What are some of the benefits you experience personally as a coach for your for our community?
So really, it's just kind of like the sense of connection still, And for me, it's like I enjoy coaching. That's what I did when I started this. I was a coach, so I just enjoy coaching people still. And then just me being like in terms of like the community, like the benefit I get is I get to stay connected with people and like meet new people and learn what's going on in the lives of other people. And also just like coaching with people like you or coaching with Stacy or other coaches, get to like see your guys' development and your growth with like members.
Yeah.
So I don't get to do it enough, but it's a good benefit.
Okay. So since you do the program, this is actually a perfect question for you.
Yeah.
What goes into the program like week to week?
I mean, that's something I could probably talk about for like 45 minutes, but I mean, really, it's just like the general thing is, what needs to be done. So there's just kind of like a general, like every week, I want to have certain time domains hit, obviously certain movements hit. So really the way it starts is with the strength programming. Like I start off with just like whatever the strength stuff is going to be, and that's all based on like 6, 8, or 12 weeks out, kind of what we're like aiming for. So I always have like a goal for like the end of a cycle is the goal, and not even goal like performance wise. It's like the goal is to get to the right energy system like calculation and lead up for a 1 rep max, like front squat, back squat, whatever. And I try to guide that. So that's like what I'm trying to do is like every time I set up the strength program, and then we've talked about how like the workouts are just like accessory work. What I'm trying to do is just basically manipulate and guide people to the best possible point that they can be to then do their testing. So that's all it is. It's just like testing and then building and then retesting and building. That's all like really like fitness is,
Yeah.
So it's really just that strength programming that like I outline and put forward. And then it's just like some of it is just like to have fun. It's just like, oh, this is like a fun thing I want to try. I like to do like the deconstructing other workouts, like the benchmark workouts, but instead of it being how it's written, like put it together a different way, same reps, same everything, and see how it's different. So some of it is just like my own testing, like playground, as long as it works, within the framework of what I'm trying to like get accomplished,
Yeah.
and just throw it out there. And some of it works and some of it doesn't, but it's really just like a giant like test lab, and that's why I like it, and that's why like being the owner and like some of the stuff that I've had to become detached from, that's something I miss, is that ability to spend like 6 hours doing the programming for the week, because I don't need to spend 6 hours doing it, but like I used to like just doing all that calculating and all that kind of stuff, but
Yeah.
it is what it is.
So next question would be, with all the controversy like over CrossFit, like people like ratting out and
Yeah.
whatnot, how would you defend it?
Basically, it's just kind of like people are going to like try. What we do like to defend it is it's not so much like attack against the people attacking it. It's more just saying like, hey, everyone has their own thing. CrossFit isn't for everybody, and that's a big thing actually that like Stacy kind of like got me into saying is like it isn't for everyone. It's like not everybody wants to come into a class and be pushed and motivated and whatever. They're generally bad people, but it's just like saying is like, look, like every CrossFit's different. Every CrossFit coach is different. Like yes, and I think part of like how like a good way that we defend it is we kind of like acknowledge the attacks on it and saying like, yeah, like not every like yes, you can get injured doing CrossFit. If you go to a shitty gym with shitty coaches, you're gonna hurt yourself. Just like if you go to trapeze school and if they don't know what they're doing, you're gonna hurt yourself. You know what I mean? Just like you go skydiving and they don't know what they're doing, you're gonna get hurt.
Good guy.
Yeah, like you're probably gonna die. But it's like it's the same thing. It's like so we acknowledge that and then we say we are good coaches, we have a good program, and we see results. And that's the biggest thing. I always tell people that are like, oh, how do you know CrossFit's not a fad? It's like, well, it's been like around now for like 15 years, like in popularity, especially the last 6 years, and it just keeps growing because it works. And the bottom line is like you come and do CrossFit for a while, it works. So that's kind of the biggest defense.
Okay. So CrossFit Orlando won Best of Boston Award. Why do you think that is, in your opinion?
Really, I think I mean, I think it's a reflection of, yes, like we are good and we have a good program and good business, but I think it's a reflection of just our community, like connection. Is it because like the Best of Boston award is both editorial, like people that work at Boston Magazine, but then also like voted on by people, and so it's members or non-members, but CrossFit people that saw that we were good and you know reached out. So I think it's a reflection of just like our connection with our members, and then also just like I mean, we look at like I think we like take the little things, you know, like things like the bathroom cleanliness, you know, even things like the towels being folded nicely and not just like, you know, I've been to gyms where they're just like in a pile for people to grab.
So like
and
the
then,
cleanliness.
Yeah, just like the little things like cleanliness and like, so it's like, yes, we have a CrossFit gym, which kind of has that raw edge and whatever, but then it's also like a nice place that people can come and like feel clean, like get a shower, hang out afterwards. You know, we have those other perks too, like lounges and stuff like that that just makes people feel connected to it beyond just like coming to get a workout.
Yeah. So last and final question is, how did you know it was time to open up a second location? Or did you know?
Yeah, I don't know if I like necessarily like just like saw like, oh, yep, it's time to do a second location. You know, it was more just like, I don't know. It just was kind of part. I guess it was sort of like the plan from the beginning. You know, we were going to open a place, not like Woburn was like a test and like, oh, if it failed, like who cares? But we knew that it was less consequence. It's not as expensive. It could be a much smaller community and survive. And then we wanted to just make sure we built our brand and product, and then go to like a bigger money, you know, because it's still a business, you know, bigger money, bigger revenue location like in Boston. And then it just was a matter of finding. I mean, like really, it's like anyone. I think any business owner, especially small business owner, would be like, you're never like not looking for expansion opportunities, because I mean, then it's like you're just sitting back and you're, whether it's like expanding within the current thing or like out, you know, reaching out.
Yeah.
And so I was just like always in touch with realtors and like all that kind of stuff, just for, you know, other opportunities. And then it just basically like the guy I was talking to like hit me with a bunch of locations. And then as I was talking to Darren, like other people, it just kind of like worked out. And then we found the Canal Park location, which ended up not being, you know, ideal in the long run. But then it was like the same thing with then how we relocated. Just was like, it's sort of, I think like it's a combination of forward like thinking like ourselves and pushing, but then also just sort of things just happening, like things coming to you and just being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
Circumstantial, I guess.
All right.
All right.
Well, that concludes that interview.
Hey, there you go.
Thank you.